Jonathan Tronathan.
That's what you call him.
We're getting close to his last video.
That's what she said.
We're edging ever closer to the last JonTron video.
We are.
Other than the ones that are in the JonTron archives and some Game Grump stuff, which I may just do solo reactions to. But for the stuff on his main channel, we're getting close.
Yeah, I knew that there would come a day where that would happen.
I mean, like what? Almost
3
years now, and yeah, we've been watching his stuff since
pretty
like
regularly too.
The first month we started. So it's been a long road.
Yeah. And
he puts new stuff out all the time, so that'll always be there.
Yeah.
For as long as he decides to do it. But anyway, this is Daikatana.
Yeah, if that's how you say
It's
it.
a review from 12 years ago.
And this is a part 1. I
Part
don't know
un.
of how many parts.
2
parts
that I saw. So
right.
Let's get into it.
Without spoiling, what did you think of the end? Oh, that's a whole. Yeah, we'll have this conversation when the video is over because okay, well, I will just say that I really didn't like it, and I actually live streamed it on this channel. So if you type in, they call me HatGuy, Nikki Little Nightmares.
Yeah.
You can see me watch it or react to the end of the game. Or I played through it, so you could see me play the game. But yeah, I was not happy.
JonTron.
Hey.
Oh wow.
Daikatana. What can be said about Daikatana? Quite a bit, actually. Now, even though Daikatana was not linked to one of my personal gaming experiences, I guess you can say it was like a friend of a friend to me. I'd heard about it, seeing it in pictures and magazines, and even being threatened by John Romero to, suck it down. But our paths never really crossed. But I mean, hey, it's even the big brother to one of the most prolific and best video game franchises to ever exist. Now, I'm assuming that many of you out there know what Daikatana is and where its roots formed, but I'm sure there's an equal portion of you that don't know it from squash bean salad. So for you in the latter half, this next part is to get you up to speed.
Yeah,
That's squash bean salad, and that's Daikatana.
I know, I'm so funny!
So now, a brief history on the tragic tale of Daikatana.
Enter the 1990s, an era when computer technology in the mainstream was just starting to take off. People were starting to see its influences in places never thought feasible. Personal computers were becoming more of a household standard, and were also becoming more visually oriented.
You see, I was born in the few years preceding the immense popularity of personal computers and the internet. So when I was a kid, we didn't use what we now know as Microsoft Windows. We used something called MS-DOS. Now, it didn't look much like this. Yeah, it looked more like this.
Yeah.
You had that, didn't you? Yeah. I
It
don't
wasn't until
understand.
1995, when the groundbreaking Windows 95 hit stores, that most people made the switch. At least from my knowledge.
It is true that versions of Windows did exist during this time period, like Windows 3.0 and Windows 3.1. But these were nothing like what we think of as Windows today, and weren't as popular between people that I knew.
Yeah, I never
Look at
used
that.
it.
Windows
I've never
1.0.
seen that.
More like Windows claustrophobia. The reason I tell you all this is because I'd like to share with you one of the first gaming experiences I had as a child. Doom.
Hell
Doom
yeah.
2 more specifically, but Doom nonetheless. This game was kick fucking ass.
It was.
And it introduced me to gaming in a way that Mario never could. Not to mention, it revolutionized the gaming industry and popularized first-person shooter as a genre. I know Wolfenstein 3D technically holds this claim to fame, but I feel that Doom was the game that made a bigger impact, even
It's
going
true.
so far as to be rated the best game of all time by GameSpy in 2001. It was simply epic. It scared the living shit out of me as a child. I remember
real.
always thinking that the
Really?
mancubuses were following
Hell
me whenever
yeah.
I was going to the shower. Don't ask. Maybe I should have been playing Doom at such a young age. Who knows? It was pure action gaming at its best, and it had nothing to hide. But I digress. This game was the brainchild of John Romero and John Carmack. No relation. Romero being the lead designer and Carmack being the lead programmer. After the success of Doom, their public profile skyrocketed, and they became industry legends, going on to create even more groundbreaking software such as Quake, which popularized the online deathmatch, an industry standard today. Hell, Doom was so popular, even Bill Gates got on the bandwagon to promote Windows 95.
Those two took the world by storm, so I guess we can expect that every game they'll make will just sweep us off our feet. Oh wait.
Fast forward to 1997. John Romero leaves id Software to co-found another company called Ion Storm. A shooter named Daikatana is announced for the PC, perhaps more well known for its controversial ad more than the game itself. But let me tell you, a shitstorm was a brewing. The game was delayed, and even completely ported from the Quake engine to the newer and more technologically advanced Quake 2 engine. This was not as simple as they had anticipated, and led to them scrapping the entire 11 months of work that they had completed up to that point. The development process was so rough that at E3 1999, the demo they brought in could only run at 12 fucking frames per second. After missed deadlines, eroding company morale, and employees leaving the company during development, Ion Storm finally shat out Daikatana on May 23, 2000, to critically scathing reviews.
Hurry the fuck up, or I will be forced to poop and eat.
This is Jacques. But I suppose he's right. We should get to the feature
Was that the
presentation.
introduction of Jacques?
But let me just say,
I don't know.
if we're dealing with absolute shit
Think
here,
so.
we may as well go as low as we possibly can. That's right. We're doing the N64 version. Oh yeah. This baby was originally a rental only at Blockbuster, but it eventually saw a true release. Let me warn you, this might not be pretty. But I've never played the game before, so we'll be experiencing this for the first time together. Let's go in with a positive attitude and judge it as fairly as we can, because hey,
I don't know shit about
maybe
this
it's an
game.
underrated masterpiece that was just judged harshly at the hands of an evolving industry.
All right,
Obviously not.
Here we
if
go.
He's making a video
there's
about it.
no turning back now. Ugh. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Have you ever seen a game with such shitty presentation? The textures suck, everything moves in strange robotic ways, and the music in the background literally just repeats the same few notes over and over again. But look at this! What the hell's happening? Your guess is as good as mine. Eventually, this guy stops dicking around and opens the door to the longest and most boring intro cutscene I have ever seen in my whole life.
Okay.
I'm not exaggerating to make this funny. This is as bad as it gets.
I timed it. This opening cutscene lasts 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Over 11 minutes before he gets to do anything.
would
There's
turn it
way
off.
worse.
I would turn it
There's
off.
way worse.
What if Doom started off this way? Yeah. 2 words. Fuck this!
So I would probably
This
like
is
Doom.
torture. I mean, listen
Yeah,
to
for
this.
sure.
Go
Listen
in
to this
and kill
music.
stuff.
There's nothing else. Not even sound effects. From what I can understand, the story is as follows. It's the year 2455 AD, and there's some pandemic happening caused by some guy named Kage Mishima. By using the MacGuffin of the story, the Daikatana, a sword, this Mishima guy traveled back in time and stopped the disease from being cured in the first place, giving him the ability to take over the world somehow. So
Okay.
you play as Hiro Miyamoto, a stiff, personality-lacking protagonist with really bad textures, who has to travel through different time periods and save the world. Yeah, who cares? Let's start.
I kind of like the
So,
music.
you start off in this rainy place, and no, I guess it doesn't look that bad so far. It's your standard futuristic shooter affair, and I already noticed that things are very hard to hit and take annoying precision to kill. I had hit the fuse box? Okay, whatever. Man, why has everything got to be so tiny and hard to hit? A major part of the game that I never really noticed take effect is that it blends RPG and action elements. And every now and then, for no discernible reason at all, you'll get a level up or something. What? What was that?
Yeah, it kinda makes me
Every
wanna
time you
throw
level up, the text
Yeah.
only appears for like a fraction of a second. You never know what you got. Oh, and guess how many times it takes for the
Feel like I
line,
just had
now
a
go
fly
kick
fly up
butt,
my
to
nose
get
or
annoying? Yeah. Once. So about a few minutes into the game, you reach a part where there's this sort of low-hanging door thing. And of course, your first gamer instinct is to duck under it. So you try every button, but you don't duck. Then you check the menu for the controls, but you don't find any control tutorial or anything. So, of course, your second gamer instinct is just to shoot the hell out of it. But nothing happens. Punch it some.
Can't
Give it some
punch
of that. Same deal, nothing. So then comes the lovely gaming sin of backtracking out of desperation. Now, may I remind you,
This is the first 3 minutes of the game.
things like this can never be a harbinger of good things to come. So, after consulting the internet, I found that you actually can crouch. Oh, look at that,
How?
isn't it cute?
How?
You want to know how to do it? Are you sure you want to know how to do it? Because I don't think you want to know how you do it. I'll tell you. R and A. That's how you
that
crouch.
doesn't make
That's how you
sense.
What?
crouch. I wouldn't even be mad about this. If A, some tutorial popped up as you got to the door, you know, like in
Yeah,
any
sure.
decent game. B, the controls were listed somewhere in the game. Or C, all the buttons were used up. But no! The L button isn't even used in the whole game. Why? For what reason? Why couldn't crouch be L instead of R
Sure.
and A? Because of this fatal flaw, if it wasn't for the internet, I may have never gotten past the first 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
It's like everyone at Ion Storm was on Ambien during the development of this game. But seeing the game as it is, maybe they were. Oh, I should mention though, Chemco is responsible for this particular port, not Ion Storm. If that excuses it any.
This game has some really terrible and tedious level design. Like, for example, this platform takes forever to come down, and it's really easy to fall off of it because of the slippery jumping controls, which are often a problem, as you'll see later on. But when you go on it, it goes up at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. Why couldn't it come down that fast? Oh, and what a surprise. I slipped off. You can see where this begins to become a problem. As long as we're talking about tedium, I may as well mention that every time you die, you go back to the beginning of the
Oh,
level.
no.
This becomes
No
annoying
way.
quickly, as this is the kind of game where you die. The jumping and dying becomes a problem in parts like this. Like look,
Yeah.
there's no invincibility period like there should be, so the lasers can just take out your health in one shot. And this is pretty far in the level. What the hell? I have to go all the way back now? So eventually you come to this one part and... What the hell?
Jump.
Apparently this guy's being tortured. And all over the place in this game, there are these people who just stand there completely unalerted to your presence. These people are all over the game, and just serve to remove you from the game's atmosphere, if it exists
Does that
at all.
pants on?
So
I
you
don't know.
save this guy, and he tells you that to get him
Bare-ass
out,
dudes.
you need to find
Hell
the
yeah.
access card behind the Mishima logo that you passed on your way in.
So you have to go. Oh, no.
Okay.
Where's your dog?
So you retrace your goddamn steps in a gaming device
No,
that
I
serves
wouldn't.
to make the game longer rather than better, and you don't find anything under the Mishima logo. You eventually realize that you were supposed to destroy the logo,
How?
because that makes a lot of fucking sense. You get the key card. You use the key card to save the guy, and then you're treated to perhaps the best cutscene of all time. Just look at it. Remind you of anything? They didn't even try! Who are these characters? Anyways, this running chat goes on the whole entire cutscene for a few minutes, and then it's the next level.
I'm going to show you a good example of why this game fails on the most basic levels. Now what I'm going to show you is standard of the entire game, cryptic and shitty. And I'm going to let you see it in its entirety so you can get in a feeling for the shit.
So you start off the third level here. You open this panel, and you're just making your way through the level. So, oh, there's a bad guy. Shoot him. So, you make your way to this panel. It tells you your password was rejected. You can't go through. So, this being the beginning of the level, you obviously backtrack and... And, oh shit,
Like,
bad
I'm
guy, shoot him.
already ready to turn. Like,
Oh.
no.
Oh wait,
no.
was he the guy that was supposed to give me the password? Well shit, now what do I do? So, you make your way back to the password panel and talk to it again, thinking it'll make the guy respawn, but it doesn't. What's this? Is he supposed to teleport with this?
No.
Eventually, by pure luck, you get this guy to respawn, and you get to watch him slowly shamble over to the door here, and... What?
What?
I mean, I don't know. It's no crazier than the other things people say in this game.
In fact, some of the things these people say are pretty funny for the wrong reasons. I am working here. Oh yeah? Let's see some ID. Hey look, someone finally noticed that I don't belong here. Oh no, never mind.
Never
You were
mind.
just pretending to give a shit. Too cold? Check the air conditioner? Why would I do that? I don't
Maybe
even
there's
work
like
here.
a bonus.
Everything
or
is okay now. Was it not before? Computers today is... What? You've got to be shitting me.
Computers today
is.
is easy to use. No said. This isn't even a foreign game. It was made in America.
Yeah, that's golden, isn't it? You'd be surprised what I make in a month?
Okay.
Okay.
Would I? I don't know. Is he being sincere?
So I didn't know this, but I knew it was a long-standing joke that like John didn't know how to end videos.
Yes.
But in one of our videos that was a part 2 is very old. Somebody in the comments said, yeah, I think this is back when YouTube had a cutoff limit for what you could upload. So it just cuts off, and then you have to do a part 2. So however long that was, I guess, was the
Because
cutoff.
he's an OG.
But that's so weird to think. I mean, now, you know, we put on 8-hour, like, nighttime sleep thing, rain
like,
and
music
jazz
and stuff.
cafe, whatever.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, but I guess that makes sense as to why these things cut off
Yes.
the way that they do.
Yeah.
And-
I never knew that without somebody telling.
You know, I never knew about this game. Like, I've heard of it, but I never heard anybody say anything about it. I never
Yeah.
played it. I never
I
cared
never
to.
heard of it, but
and
it's not a surprise.
this seems like it was a bit ahead of its time and that it could have been a good game. Like with the RPG
Yeah.
elements and shit like that. This is a lot like, you know, I'm not going to say it's... In that way, it reminds me of Fallout.
Okay.
But obviously Fallout's
well, they were
incredibly
talking
fun.
about Quake, and I remember
Mm-hmm.
when I was in high school, there was this craze of Quake, and
Hell yeah.
everyone played Quake on the school computers with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, we'd be in, like, keyboarding class, and, like, the guys would be, like, killing each other, but they all played together somehow.
Because they had like a LAN party going on,
Okay.
which is like where you're not on the internet. Everybody's computers are connected to each other on the same.
Server?
Yeah, but it's not like an internet server. They're just together, connected locally.
Anyway, and then I thought that it also, now forgive me because people will be like, they're gonna get mad that I'm gonna say this, but I played it a long time ago, so you can't get mad at me because I kind of know what I'm talking about. I thought that it kind of looked like Unreal, just the way that it looked.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun stuff. I can't wait to get to the next last bit of this, part 2.
Yeah, this one was-
but it's fun to see John and his early...
Dude, the crackly, you couldn't even see his face.
That is what like cameras that we had looked like in
I know.
2010. Think
Chad
about
and I
that.
always talk about, like,
We're old.
how we're... I mean, I'm not old, but I feel fucking ancient. And he
Yeah.
said, you know, like, growing up, I guess I thought 30-year-olds were a little old.
Yeah.
Probably. But a 30-year-old in, like, the 80s or 90s or whatever, like, okay. But now, like, so much has changed that it just feels like
Yes.
we're so much older, too.
The difference between us in the 90s is the same difference as it was from the 90s and the 60s when we were growing up.
And the 60s felt like,
Ancient times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Look at the change that happened. Like, it wasn't nearly as much.
No.
Like, since 2005 and now, it's just been crazy change.
So
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Technological advances, just insane.
You know, like, VHS tapes came out.
Yeah.
And nightly news. Well, I guess nightly news was always a thing. Like, you still got your news from the newspaper.
Right.
From the 60s until the 90s. Like, it's just wild.
So much.
It's wild. Yeah. But anyway, that's not
what
this is about.
Great stuff. I enjoyed this video and look forward to finishing this one up. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we will see you next time.
See you guys. Bye.